Welcome to episode 132 of the Inside Bite. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here with my co-host, Rudy. How you doing this week?
Hey, I'm doing great. Everything cool, man. Everything good. Just last week was a crazy week for snow. I think I worked one day last week. It was awesome. A lot of snow and 2-hour delays and closings and stuff. So yeah, back on the grind this week.
So in a week, maybe a week and a half, there's three different things going on of three groups like setting up certain dates for interviews. One, it's with a group that sent me their album. They're releasing it March 1st. As long as we have the interview out like a few days prior to the launch to sort of build a pipe for it. And then they went ahead and sent me the tracks for the album because that way we could sort of like know what they're about, review it up on Scene Pensacola. And I've listened to the first 5 tracks so far. It's a mix between like Offspring, Zebrahead, Trust Company, if you know who they are, somewhere up in that vein. But I'm actually genuinely liking it. I'm trying to promote artists regardless if I like it or not. It could be country artists for all I care, right? The point is just to find artists trying to get bigger and us promoting them. I was surprised going through this track. So I'm like, oh, this is like right up my alley of what I would listen to anyway. So I'm super digging it so far. It almost makes it worse in a way because now I'm even more like, damn, I actually really like this. And now I'm a little like, I don't want to say nervous because I'm not nervous, but let's say like I just want it to go really well now because I actually care. And then I got 2 other groups agreeing. I just have to figure out dates with them. But there's this venue called the Handlebar that's super close to my studio. And the whole deal is they could easily just kind of walk around the corner, come up in there, do like a 30-minute record session, sort of leave, go back to their show, whether before or after. And a dude that I work with, the Scene Pensacola, is like the camera guy for up in there. And now I'm the video dude up in the area. I've been noticing I've covered 6 events at this point. This week I have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night recording certain events. So I'm getting a lot of work coming in. I'm getting a lot of coverage. If you go on Scene Pensacola's YouTube, so you see, like, I'm sticking with black and white, and then I was asking them, hey, what do you think about orange? And they're like, yeah, we're cool. So I'm integrating orange into the color scheme as well. Okay. But
that's cool.
I started with them about a month and a half ago, and I got about 8 things up now, and I have 2 videos that I have to edit still. I just posted my latest one 2 days ago that took me about 8 hours to edit, and then I got those 3 events, so it's about to be about 5 things that I have to go through on editing. But I could push it out a lot quicker, but the more I'm doing it, the more I'm like starting to really care about these artists and really like it, make it nice, and I want to make it as nice as possible because so the last one I just put up, for example, 2 days ago, both After Dusk, which is probably the biggest of the 3 in terms of their listener count, reached back out and was like super appreciated, thanks, all that. And then the venues are sharing my videos. When I'm going to shows now, people are already starting to recognize me, and I'm only like a little over a month in, and starting to like come up to me and ask me questions, tell me they like what I'm doing, all of that. So it's catching on real fast. I think it's just because up to this point, there is one guy, Jaundice 850, that I think is pretty good, but outside of him, there's not really anyone in the area going to all these events and doing coverage. And Jaundice really only stays at one location, where I'm hopping around to a bunch of different ones. And I was a little worried about like, well, you know, I don't want to be doing the same thing he's doing, but whenever you watch his videos compared to mine, they're so very different in what their like scope is and what our ideas are and how we want it done. Being actually really like what he does, and I met him in person the last show I went to and greeted him and all that, tell him I really like what he does and all that. It's been really fun being really big in this music scene that's blowing up a lot, and I mean, if there's not a show every night, it's every other night, and I'm not exaggerating. If you go like scenepensacola.com's like calendar, you'll see there's probably 4 events in a single day, and there's so much to to pick from. I'm having a hard time choosing what I want to go to and what I don't. And
I gotcha.
so I've been really, really busy with that. But I just wanted to talk about that for a moment because it's been really cool.
No, that
Yeah.
sounds like a cool venture to get into, especially if you enjoy it. You know, it's not just doesn't feel like you're just doing the job or something, you know?
Yes.
Feels
Yes.
much more
Yes.
than that. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
There's a lot of passion there, but it is hard.
Yeah, sure.
It's taking up a lot of my time. I'm up till like, midnight 1, 2 a.m. working on stuff. And it's like, well, if I'm not and I only put in a few hours, like it's gonna take me like 4 weeks just to finish a single video. And it's like I'm really struggling to keep everything going. And I'm sure at some point, hopefully once we get enough traction and I can get like a person to just sort of help me edit, that'd be a huge, huge help here. But I've kind of always wanted that anyway, even with our stuff here with the Inside Bite, is like it's so much workload. And I really wish, in terms of like somebody, I need to be able to find somebody who can just edit audio and video, or
Yep.
especially video, so they can throw it up and make the TikToks and all that. Because I've mentioned on the show before, like I did TikTok for about a month and a half and pretty regularly, and I was getting a lot of views and stuff, but it was so time consuming. I just had to like put it on the back burner because I couldn't keep up with it. And so, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's
yeah.
cool. I like that. That's it will only make you get better at, everything we're doing anyway, you know? So very
All
cool.
right. Xbox Showcase happened here, and Xbox Developer Direct is what they're calling it. And this is now the third one. And I think they've been doing a great job, and this continues to show like, man, they really have something going here. I really like the format. I really like the approach they take, because it is unique enough to where they're going to the studios of these places that are making the games. They're actually having the people making the games talk about them while they're showcasing the games. It feels really intimate. Plus, it's not, whenever they show footage, though, it still is presented very professionally. So you just get a mix of both, of like, here's a lot of gameplay, here's maybe a cool trailer put together, plus here's them talking about the game and how it functions and all that. And so
Right.
I think it's a really great format.
Yeah, no, I agree. From what I saw, I just love this whole attitude that they have lately of kind of embracing the little updates here and there, instead of just, I don't know. It's so boring to see like a press release or a random trailer. I kind of like these little events that you can look forward to, especially now that we don't have like E3, things like this are cool to look
Yes.
forward to and be excited about, So, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but yeah, some of that stuff was really cool to see. So it got me excited for some of the things coming up. So,
Yeah. We don't know much of what Nintendo's doing in
mhm.
2024, probably because the Switch 2. And then on PlayStation side, we don't really have much either. I know we have PlayStation, we got Helldivers 2, um, and we have Rise of the Ronin. And I think those are only two I can think of that we know, like, in terms of PlayStation Studios, like first party stuff. We know some third party things, but even third parties seem a little lacking from both Nintendo and PlayStation, in
Sure.
terms of what we know is coming here. Well, I guess third party, they're all like, we're, as a whole of this year, we're really unsure how this year's going to play out, because again, we usually get that E3 the summer before mapping out the next year or two, and now that we don't have that, it's a really weird time. So we got this video to showcase what Xbox first party's bringing to the table, but even third party,
Right.
we still don't really know.
We still have no idea.
But
I
even
it's
first party with the other two, it's super
it,
shallow.
it's so funny thinking of like 2023. I remember when we were first starting it, it almost felt like, damn, what's coming out? I don't know. And then look how it ended up, So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good
I'm
point.
curious to see like at what point in the year are we going to be like, wow, there's some good. No matter what, we know, no matter what, it'll be a good year. I don't remember a year that hasn't been at least a good year. Last year was an amazing year, obviously, but I wonder at what point in the year we're gonna be like, okay, now this is starting to get good. We have dates for big games, and we have a few big games out, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So
between what we're going to talk about here with the Xbox and then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, technically I'm good. I'm happy. I'm
seriously,
like Rebirth is right around the corner. You're talking a week or
I
two
can't
away.
wait. I can't
So
wait, man. I'm
yeah,
excited.
yeah, yeah.
I have a friend at work who bought a PS. Like he's not like a normal gamer. He doesn't play games normally, right? But every so often a game will come out. He'll be like, "Oh, I want to play that." So he bought a PS4 for Final Fantasy VII Remake. He played it. He
Okay.
beat it. He like really enjoyed it. You know, he did like hard mode. He like got really into it. And then he saw that the DLC was only on PS5. He's like, "Okay, that's okay." He's like, "It's just DLC." And then he sees that the next one only on PS5. He's like, "Damn." He's like, "Oh
Yeah,
well, I guess I'm
yeah.
just gonna wait now." So,
Which I'm personally happy about because now we can
oh
really
yeah,
take advantage of the
I
system
want
and
to
all
really
that.
take
Yeah.
advantage of it. Yep, agreed. So yeah,
Okay.
looking forward to it, man.
Let's get into this Xbox Developer Direct. So we're just going to go in order of what they showcased here. Valve was first. It is launching fall of this year. Xbox Series X and S, PC, and cloud, joining Game Pass on day one. Avowed game director Kerry Patel gave us a first deep dive into the gameplay and Obsidian's upcoming fantasy action RPG, from its dynamic combat to its thoughtful reactivity to its
There you go.
colorful, vibrant, strange world set in the living lands. Valve continues Obsidian's signature style of creating games with deep themes and player choice at the forefront. Not only will you take narrative decisions that can impact changes in the game down to the line, but Valve is also looking to offer choice in combat. Gameplay director Gabe Paramo discuss not only how varied your weaponry will be, with melee weapons, ranged guns and bows, and magic based wands, even dual wielding wands, to name a few, but how flexible combat can be, allowing you to quickly change loadouts for enemy encounters. Swappable loadouts mean you can approach combat however feels right to you. Art director Matt Hansen then explained how the living lands in the mysterious island, made up of wildly varied regions, offering visually diverse backdrops and intriguing settings to explore. With secrets hidden throughout the regions, you'll take in barren deserts, Varden forests, blighted wastes, volcanic biomes, and more. That's not all for Avowed, however. Make sure to tune in to Xbox Podcast on Monday, January 22nd for an exclusive interview with some of Obsidian's developers, offering even more information on the gameplay reveal, which I need to watch. It's out now. Get ready to carve your own path through Avowed when it launches this fall for Xbox Series X and S, PC and cloud, and arrives Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass on day one. For more information, please visit the Avowed website. Now, I must clarify, all of what we're going to be reading here is pulled directly from Xbox Wire, which is first party way of their sort of blog. So it's going to word it in a way, it's coming directly from the source there. Now, of what I saw from Valve, I'm a little confused on the reception because I think it looks great. I think it looks very Outer Worlds, right? If
Right.
like in that style. I don't know. I'm a little confused on. I'm seeing some people say it doesn't look very good. I'm seeing some people say like maybe the combat doesn't look good, but maybe they could have showed later on content of showing maybe fighting like bigger bosses or something like that instead of just generic enemies. But I think they were trying to showcase how the combat worked in general, not really like trying to showcase like bigger enemies. They were just trying to be like, hey, here's how these weapons work, here's how the bow works, here's how the dual wands work, here's how you can swap between different things. And it just happens to be a generic enemy that they're fighting. I don't think they were necessarily trying to showcase all the various monsters you may be fighting, which like maybe that's a fault of their showcase, but I get what they were trying to do there.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I almost think also they have to almost think of, okay, well, how are people going to react to this? I feel like these people are smart enough to know like how are they going to react. Again, myself, I'm fine with it, but I know the mass. There's tons of people who are going to be like, well, why didn't we see this? Remember when Zelda didn't want to show too much?
Yeah,
People had all these complaints, so it is what it is. The game will come out and speak for itself anyway, you know. So
Now, the bit where they're talking with the guy and they're showing all the different like options of like dialogue choice, that looks super basic. I don't even know why they would even show that part. So I could get the criticism there. Um, but I don't know. I think it looks super good to me. I mean, this basically it looks a lot like Skyrim in terms of it being a medieval RPG and the way it handles like combat of like two weapons and all that, but you can clearly tell the combat's greatly improved from way back on Skyrim. But in terms of its themes and stuff, I could see it's in the realm of that. But this isn't going to be an open world RPG. It's hub based, so
right.
it's more like Outer Worlds if you ever played that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
which I did and I really liked, and so expect a medieval RPG and in this sort of like groundwork of an Outer Worlds, and if you can understand that, then I think that's what you're gonna get out of this game is like really like Obsidian's really good about like its witty writing and funny characters and really having you like intrigued in its story and all that like with it from you know when you played Fallout 3 and when you play Fallout 4, but when you play Fallout New Vegas, it feels so entirely different in its
Yeah.
like tone and almost sarcasm and all that, because that was Obsidian compared to Bethesda
Sure.
in general. So like Obsidian always has that sort of like tongue in cheek bit. Even when it came to, I guess, the more serious of the game you recently played, what is it called?
Oh,
Um,
Pentiment.
yeah, there's still a
Yep.
lot
Even
of
there.
tongue in
Yep.
cheekness going on.
They really,
Yeah,
honestly, I was just, if you didn't say that, I was going to mention it right there. That even in such a game that literally is what, in like the 14th century, very serious game, religious, tones, they
yeah,
still find ways to squeeze in some humor in there. And like, even things that are not supposed to be funny, but they're just funny because of the situation or whatever. So yeah,
exactly.
no,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited. I haven't played a lot of Obsidian's games, but after I played Pentiment, I was like, I know this is not supposed to be the game that pulls you into their developer
right.
studio, but that was how it worked for me. So now I'm like, I'm definitely playing their next game. So
Yeah. I think it looks great though. I'm super high on it. Comes out this
yeah,
year. I couldn't be any happier. So
yeah, yeah. No, looks cool.
I'm
I'm
really
excited.
pleased with that.
Looking forward to it.
The
All
next
right.
one here. What did you think of Hellblade 2?
So Hellblade 2. So I should say again, I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. I thought it had some cool ideas. I liked some things about it, but I didn't love it. Like I wasn't like some other people are, like obsessed with it or anything or
I
whatever.
didn't love it either. I liked it, but yeah, it wasn't like a big
I
thing
had
for
some
me.
problems with it. Like I thought, so when I first saw the game coming out, I thought, oh, combat's gonna be cool, whatever. The combat was very weak. It was like barely anything in the game, right? And then so forget the combat. The puzzles and exploration, which I really didn't like the puzzles in this game either. They were just frustrating and not even fun. So that's what I personally didn't like about the first one. The story was really cool, the way they did the sounds and everything. That was all great. Anyway, that being said, this next one, the little bit I had seen up until recently, I was like, okay, this looks interesting. I don't really know what to think because I haven't seen like just the normal gameplay section yet. Then I saw that most recent video. I was like, okay, this looks like more of the same, except it looks better, right? Like bigger budget, the
Yeah.
graphics look better. I was a little surprised to hear that the game has been in development for so long and it's pretty much just about the same length as the first one.
Yes,
I,
it's
I
only going to be like
that's
7 or 8 hours,
yeah,
and this is
and
a
I'm
big
not
point of discussion.
right. I'm not even like oh my god, this game needs to be this long. I'm not like that. I have no problem. I mean, look at Cocoon, right? We played that for four
Yeah,
hours. It's one of our favorite games of last year. Inside is one of my favorite games ever, right? So that's not even my problem. I guess my issue, it's not even an issue, but the thing that makes me scratch my head kind of is like, this game's been in development for so long. And I just thought, like look at, perfect example. Look at Plague Tale, right? Remember the first Plague Tale to the second one? Way bigger budget, like blockbuster. It was longer, had more going on. So I thought there's something similar here, but I guess not. So I'm still looking forward to it,
yeah, they
obviously.
almost
But
kind of hurt themselves here because unless this is one of the most polished,
Oh
crazy,
yeah.
dense. Like, okay, it's 8 or 9 hours, but once you play it, you'll understand that it took so long to create because it's
Right.
that incredibly high and polished and that dense and the flow is
Sure.
perfect and all that. That could happen, sure,
Yeah. Oh, it sure
but
could. It sure could.
that's again best case scenario. What I'm expecting is to be like, oh, that was cool, but it was a little
Right.
short and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not like super high on it, but I mean, I think it looks great. I mean, I think this is like super high end tech of like some of the
Yeah.
best like visuals we've seen and all that. But again, I still don't know what the hell we're really doing. The combat, I'm still confused. Is there even going to be much combat here?
That's
Is it
see. That's
more
that's what
of
I don't
just
know.
like? But again, what if there's not combat at all, but it ends up being so great on like its walking simulator aspects? I mean,
Sure.
I don't. But joking aside, but I mean, like Death Stranding, it's not like the combat's great, but I love that game, so I'm
That
open
game's so
minded.
unique, you know. It's like
So
that game. There's no other game like that. Like only Kojima could pull that off, you know. I don't know. The
it's
thing,
hard
the
for
thing,
me to believe this team could pull off such an incredible feat with such
right?
a yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
hey, who knows?
some people are like conflating what people are complaining about, right? At least I can only speak for myself. For me personally, I love 8-hour games. That's great, especially in my life today, right? I don't have a problem with that. I guess the only issue I have is the expectation we had after all these years, right? I expected this to not be
A
a
bigger, grander
smaller,
adventure from the
right,
first
right,
game because they spent so much
right.
time on it. Now they have so much more money, they had so much more time.
Yep, yep.
Now we
Look at
can
Alan
really
Wake.
get a gigantic game, yeah,
Yeah,
and
look at Alan
yeah,
Wake 2, right? Like when
yeah,
I
yeah.
got that game, I had expectation that okay, this is going to be a bigger, longer game,
Which it
and it
was. It
was.
went
It
from
was.
like 9 hours to what, like
It was
30?
like double,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
probably more than double. So yeah, so all right. Anyway, that being said, let me read
Yeah.
this little blurb here. So Ninja Theory took us behind the scenes at their studio in Cambridge to take a look at Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, meet some of the team, and learn more about the craft behind their new title, which is now in the final months of development. In the video, we learned more about Senua's new journey, which leads her to Iceland, a harsh and brutal land ravaged by myth and tyranny. We were given a new look at Senua's experiences of the world, seen through her eyes as someone who experiences psychosis, and saw some of Senua's visceral and violent battles with the Draugr. We also
Let me
heard more
pause you.
detail.
Let me
Go
pause you
ahead.
here. The audio, in the first game, the audio was just the vocals. They specified in this one, it's 3D audio as a whole. So like even when it comes to like trees moving in the bottom right, you know what I mean? You'll be able to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So like all aspects of this game are not just the fact that it's 3D audio, but highly emphasized on messing with your head more than just her voices. So
Right, right, right.
I wanted to mention that.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
We also heard more detail on what players can expect from the game's story and how binaural and spatial audio will take players deep into the world of Hellblade, kind of what you're talking about. With a studio mission of crafting life-changing art with game-changing tech, Ninja Theory are pushing the boundaries of fidelity, richness, and immersion. You can join Senua on her new quest, May 21st. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 is available to wishlist on Steam and pre-install on Xbox Game Pass now. So it sounds
It's
like
$50 by the way. Did you see
Yep, I
that?
did see that. Yep.
Okay.
And it sounds like what they are saying is sort of in line with what we're saying that they have to pull off to make this go well, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, you guys are really going to push the limit. This is really going to be this crazy experience. Okay, great. I'm all in, you know? I think honestly, even though I didn't love the first one, I'm gonna replay it because it's so short. Replay it before this drops, you know? So I
I
might do that.
tried twice and I never finished it either time, and I liked it, but again, like it's just there's so much good stuff, and unless it's like cream of the crop, it's hard for me to keep going forward. And I hate that that's the case, but it really is because there really is that much of choice right now. Um, but
Yeah.
what were you? May 21st. That's very close,
May
actually.
21st. Yep,
I
yep,
was
not too far.
thinking, well, I don't know. It's kind of in line with what I've been thinking though, because I was like, I remember in previous episodes being like, dude, I think this game's a lot further along than what people think. They've been working on it a long time. I think it's going to come out soon, and that looks to be the case. But I still had my doubts only because of it's just weird. What they've shown still has to this point, even with this direct here, I still don't. They still haven't really shown just like you sitting down and watching it just go for like 5 minutes. I still want that because I'm still trying to
Right.
understand the flow of the game. I still don't quite understand that.
I agree. Yeah, we don't know enough. I I don't know, man. I hope this is not a game where it's like it comes out and again, not that it's a bad game, but that we're disappointed because I feel like this game does have a lot of sort of hype behind it, you know. And I'm also curious. This is not important, but I'm curious why they flipped the title. Before it was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Now it's Senua's Saga: Hellblade 2. I'm just
I
curious
don't
why
know.
companies make little decisions like that. You know,
I
it's just
have no
weird.
idea. Yeah, that is
But
weird.
if I remember correctly, the first one. Hold on, let's see. How long to be Hellblade?
No, it's
I
the
want to
same
say,
time. It's like 7, 8, 9 hours. So
yeah, main story 7.5 hours. Okay, I might at some point give it another shot. We'll see. Um, but yeah, May 21st. There it is.
I mean, I still have my save, and I made it at least halfway. So maybe I can
Mm-hmm.
finish it up. All right. Next here, in premise, I think this is a little, well, not in premise. Let's say the premise is actually great. I guess what I mean when I was watching it, I was like, why is this being shown? This isn't an exclusive. Everything else is very like first party, deep dive into developer directs or something like that. And here's like a third party game that's not even coming to Game Pass, and they've been pushing that so much. And but Square Enix, but I think I get it because it was a few months ago where they kept pressing, hey, we're in good communication with Square Enix. We want everyone to understand that. We want everyone to be convinced, hey, we're going to start getting Square Enix stuff again. We're now being a lot more buddy buddy than what we have been for a long time. Believe that kind of thing. They literally made talks on that. And then when they were saying they were bringing over Final Fantasy 14 online and all that. So I think that's why they chose to throw this in here because this is a Square Enix single player JRPG, right? Visions of
Right.
Mana. And an important one of that, at least for me,
Right.
I'm greatly looking forward to this. And so I think they were more just trying to convince more and more people that Xbox is serious about trying to get more Japanese audience, which they've been on this train for a while now. The same with Persona 3 Reload. That's coming out next month as well. Here's the problem. It's like Persona 3 Reload and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I think it's either same day or like a few days apart. And I'm definitely playing Rebirth because I've already played Persona 3. But man, I was greatly looking forward to like playing that. But I'm definitely gonna have to go through 7 first. But technically, knowing me, I'll probably try to juggle both. But um, regardless, here, yeah, they're just trying to really convince people. And hey, like if it's true and all, and we just keep getting more and more, great. But I'll believe it when I see it. But I guess this is part of that. Hey, here you go. Here's some JRPG goodness. So, um, in a surprise appearance, Square Enix joined the show to present Visions of Mana, the first new mainline entry in the series in over 15 years, and its debut on Xbox platforms. Series producer Masuri, I'm not going to try that last name there, presented a sneak peek at the gorgeous new RPG, sharing gameplay and behind the scenes footage before its launch in summer of 2024. Father of the Mana series and creator of many of its iconic monsters, discussed the implementation and design of the enemies in Visions of Mana, introduced the adorable new enemy companions, Pickles, and explained the design process behind them. He shared some details regarding the game's score and revealed that the track list for Visions of Mana contains 100 songs in total, includes works from musical talents who worked on previous Mana games. He also shared details of the adaptive music system that allows a seamless transition from map exploration to battles, demonstrating a snippet of the background music changing as you enter or leave combat. Also revealed that Visions of Mana, the elements will assist the player in battle in the form of specialized items, which will each have a different effect in combat. Combined with aerial combat that allows for weapons and magic to be used in midair, The combat is fast-paced and flexible. Vision Mana is released summer 2024 on Xbox Series X and S, Windows PC, and is also coming to PlayStation. The only thing it's not hidden is Switch, only because these graphics I think are really pretty and quite impressive. So,
Oh yeah.
there's that. Um, this next game here, I am not into this genre at all, and I'm not gonna play it. But when I actually sat down and watched this, and I watched it in full, I watched the whole direct in full, but
Okay.
it did impress me. I mean, the thing is Civilization. I've tried a few times, and there's a lot of
Hmm.
games that try to do a Civilization do. But if I'm gonna play a game, I might as well play the real deal of Civilization. But I think this
Right.
game actually showed how it's different enough from Civilization to actually entice people to, why would you play a Civ like if you can just play the real deal and it'd be better? It's kind of the same with
Good
like
point.
Souls like games. It's like, okay, well, unless you're like offering something very unique here, why am I going to play what was that? Mortar Shell, for example, right? It's like,
Right.
okay, it's
Oh
cool and
yeah, yeah.
all,
Mortal Shell.
but
Yep.
it's like I'd rather just play a From Software game. I think
Sure.
it's now starting to turn the tide with Souls like games because, like, let's say Liza P ended up doing
Liza
so
P. I keep
well.
hearing such
Yeah,
great things about that
yeah.
game, man.
So like, anyway, I'm thinking this is a Liza P moment here. I think they're doing just enough different things, but still sticking to the Civ like. And when I was watching this, I was really blown away. This looks incredible, and this looks
Okay.
like a really they have such a grand scope here, and everything looks so incredibly polished, and the systems go so. I don't know. I was blown away on uh just how great this looked, even though this is not my genre at all, and I don't think I'm gonna play this, but I can tell a good game when I see it though, and I was still really impressed by this. I've never heard of this till now. I'm curious, what all platforms is this even coming to?
Is it coming to everything or?
Mm. Oh wow, it's first party Xbox Game Studios.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
only coming to Xbox and Windows. Um, I'm sure Steam and
Interesting.
Steam, but it's only PC and Xbox here. But I'm telling you, I don't know. I was really impressed by like the draw distance and just how great everything looked with how huge of a scale it had. Um, I think this is going to be a gigantic hit for people that are into these types of games. Um,
Yeah.
I,
No. I mean that. It's always good to even if some game or developer has a certain genre locked down. I still think it's important for people to be trying.
yeah, yeah.
Try to get it in there. So all right. Let's see. Next up, we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which I should say I was really, really happy with what I saw. Coming to Xbox Series X and S and PC, joining Game Pass on day one. The official reveal of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was debuted during Developer Direct with over 13 minutes of gameplay footage and developer insights. This new journey starring the legendary archaeologist came from the award-winning team at Machine Games, the minds behind Wolfenstein: The New Order and Wolfenstein: The New Colossus, in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games and executive produced by Bethesda Game Studios' Todd Howard. Uh, those look great, man, and I love Machine Games, and I've loved most of their games. So, yeah, I'm way into this. I'm very, very excited.
That
So,
Todd Howard bit, I found out after the fact. Apparently, he was the original idea and the presser of even them doing this. It was something he's always wanted to do, and he's really into Indiana Jones and always wanted to do an Indiana Jones game. So he's what got all this started. I didn't realize that until a few days ago. Um, which I think is pretty neat. So like in terms of just if you were to think of like a high executive director in terms of ideas and all that,
mhm.
he could probably be credited. Though it's not like he's actually like even going along with development. They may ask random questions to him or something like that, but I don't want to give the man too much credit. I just wanted to say like he's who pressed for this and he's who had the original idea for this to even happen. And I think he like got a good team behind it because um the only bad game I think they've ever done was something that didn't really like work with in entirety was that Youngblood game, right? But it was more on Arcane than it was even them. They just sort of helped Arcane develop it. And we know with I don't know what the hell's going on with Arcane because it started
Yeah.
with this Youngblood, and then like I guessed what was it? I didn't like it. What were the repeat cycles? Deathloop.
Oh, Deathloop.
I was kind of whatever on it, and then Redfall's like super bad, and it's like Arcane's just kind of like to me. But when it comes to machine games, like I mean, I don't know. I think they're one of the best developers around.
Yeah,
So
they're great. They're so good at what they do, man.
yeah, I think I see some people being upset that it's first person, but I don't know. Machine Games is way too good, and of course they're gonna want to do first person because they're just so much better at it. Yeah, they could do third. I'm sure they could, but would it be as good? You know, you might as well have them do what they're great at.
Yeah, that's their specialty, man. That I don't know. I just feel like Indiana Jones being first person makes perfect sense. I don't know. I feel like that will work great, man. So, and I think people will be happy once it comes out and they see, how they pull it off. So,
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I don't. I see a lot of people be like, yes, but I really want the whole point of Indiana Jones is just the whole character aesthetic, and I want to be able to see him and all that. And yes, they made it to where like if you're climbing something, you'll see him, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just because I'm not a big Indiana Jones dude. I don't care
sure.
about seeing the character.
I'm the same. Yeah.
I just think this
Yeah.
game looks awesome, and I want to play it. That's all.
Yep.
So.
Agreed. Can't
But
wait.
yeah, that's all of the developer direct there. So, a good like here's what's happening this part of the year, this part of the year, this part of the year, and then they sort of like hit and Indiana Jones is coming end of this year. So, they sort of showcased, when is that? 4, right? And then the Visions of Man is 5, but that's not first party, but in terms of like you know, 4 games first party. I think that's enough. Um, PlayStation usually sits at about 3, which is good too. So it's no better or worse there. The problem is just the fact of we've waited so long for Xbox to finally be delivering. This is the year. And then, I'm assuming Fable's probably not coming this year and is probably coming next year. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that
did
one,
they
but
say the last thing they've done? Did they ever actually say Fable release? Dang, let me see. Did they say 2024 or anything? I mean, they did say it was coming in 2024. Maybe it's the very end of the year, and so they were trying to showcase things earlier than that. But
hmm.
I have a feeling they're gonna push it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't think they need to rush it. Like, just make sure it's good. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then this next story, it wasn't part of Developer Direct, but Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl is also Xbox exclusive here and is finally actually launching in September. They
I'm glad to
released
hear
a
that,
new
man.
like video of like the final release trailer and yeah, we're finally be able to play that. But before we go on, I just wanted to mention I think like this ain't like a 10 out of 10 presentation. I've definitely seen some like E3 shows that are like super blown away by and had a lot more and all that. But this is a more like focused on just showing a few titles and really like going into more nitty gritty than just like a trailer and maybe someone talking for 30 seconds. So I get
Sure,
you don't
sure.
want to. I mean, it was an hour long already. So
Right, right. You don't want to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was, a decent showing. I'm
yeah.
happy that they did it more so than not doing it. Put it that way.
Yeah.
But I
And
am very excited. This finally has a date. I mean, that's awesome. Good news.
I'm assuming I don't I wonder if we'll I mean we're at some point this year we have to get a PlayStation showcase, but I know for sure, we're also getting Nintendo here. But
Hmm.
um PlayStation's been incredibly quiet, and I'm super
Oh
curious of
yeah.
like, because they got a lot of studios, and we have no idea what they're doing, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
really weird. Um, Maybe they're just all doing live service stuff because they keep talking about that, but I don't know. There's got to be something more there.
Yeah.
And then again, Nintendo, we don't know anything because I'm sure they're saving all of their stuff for whenever they reveal the console. So that makes a lot of sense on why we don't know much there. But anyway, Stalker 2 release date, it is coming September 5th. Go watch the trailer. We've talked about it enough. I think it does look incredibly good, and this is going to be another like huge get for the platform. So again, I feel this may be like the start of people being like, man, maybe I really should buy an Xbox. I think it's finally starting here. It's a little late, and it's almost like mid console before they got people thinking this. But at the same time, there's got to be a lot of people being like, well, it'll eventually come to PlayStation because apparently Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, what was the other game? I forget. Apparently, are all coming to PlayStation and Switch as well. And I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, look, it's Microsoft. I'm sure they're just all about the money, and I'm sure they're just making money moves. Like, it's probably not more complicated than that. They probably released a game. It's probably not selling anymore, and they're like, hey, if we release on another platform, we'll just make some more money. Let's go ahead and do it. And I think it's just that simple. I don't think they
Yeah.
really have a strategy on like, we'll make sure these games stay here and these games leave or whatever. I don't think they're really thinking that through much. I just think they're noticing it's not selling anymore, so they're just throwing it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Agreed.
I
I
don't know.
think they got a good strategy going on, man. I'm not too worried about it. So by the way, game of the year, Foamstars. Next
I don't know, dude.
Foamstars launches in
Do
February
you
as a
do you have
PlayStation
PlayStation
Plus
Plus
monthly
still?
game.
Because I don't.
I don't anymore, no. I just don't feel like it's worth. It's almost like
Well, I'm not
uh,
using it. I only play
I
my
don't use it
PlayStation
anymore.
for like
Yeah.
single player exclusives. What
Same
there's no
here. Same
reason
here.
for me to have it. But
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
anyway, I was only asking because like I want to try this game out, but I don't want to sub to try this game out.
I know.
And
Same.
in no way am I like hyped for this. I mean,
No.
I have Splatoon. Like we like there's no
Splatoon is
reason
the
for me to jump
definitive
over
version.
to a really I don't know, this just looks dumb and cheap in my opinion, but
Yep,
I don't.
I
I'm not
agree.
expecting much, and I don't think they are either because they're actually announcing it as it being a PlayStation Plus game now instead of just like trying to sell it out of the gate. It's either the game may happen to be really, really good, but they just realize the conversation's not good, so they have to find a way to get people to try it so they will like it, or they actually think that it's not that great and they got to just get players somehow.
Could
Anyway, keep
be
going on
interesting.
with this. I just had to see if you were able to try this game when it launches because I won't be able to.
Yeah, nope. Anyway, Square Enix's foam-drenched online shooter is going to be live next month, be a PlayStation Plus monthly game. For those subscribers looking to add it to their library, or for non-subscribers looking to purchase the game, it launches exclusively on PlayStation 4 and 5 on February 6th. Excuse me. As for the game itself, Foamstars is a 4v4 online multiplayer game. Players take on the role of the titular Foamstars of varying classes and abilities to participate in a game called Foam Smash. Rather than simply shooting your opponent, the goal is to coat them with enough foam so you can slide kick them to knock them out of the match. The
That
foam
sounds
also
so
changes the
dumb.
layout. The foam also
Sorry.
changes the layout of the arena by creating traversable hills and defensive walls, and you can move through your own foam faster than your opponents were. That sounds familiar. The game has drawn positive comparisons to Splatoon since it's real. But, just to be clear, Splatoon, lame, kitty, not
Yeah,
original.
yeah, yeah.
This, wow, what
They're
a cool
about
idea.
they're about to learn real fast how good Splatoon is when
I
this
know, I know. They're
trash
gonna
comes
see.
out.
Publish.
Also, foam. The one cool thing I could see that when I was watching this trailer, being like, that is pretty neat. Anyway, you can build up foam, so technically you could sort of like climb parts in the map without actually having to like sort of climb a wall. You can sort of
It's
make your
cool.
own walls to get up on, which I think is pretty neat. But like, That's about
I think
where I think is neat or not sort of starts and ends there. But
I think the game will probably have some parts that are fun, right? Obviously, but
I
like,
think
let's
it's
not
going to be
act.
a repeat of that. What? Not Demolition. What was
Oh,
Demolition
I
All
know exactly
Stars?
what you're talking about. Is that what it's called?
I don't
I
know.
think so. They were gonna sell it at first, and then they made it a
Yeah,
PS Plus game. I think. Yeah.
which is what's happening here. And I think it's gonna have a very similar effect to where like, hey, we'll try it out, might as well. And then what? In a few weeks, no one cares anymore. Anyway,
Publisher Square Enix has plans to support the game with seasonal updates for a year, including new characters, maps, and modes. Season pass for each season will cost $5.99 at launch. There will be 3 PvP modes. There's the standard Happy Bath survival mode. Smash the Star encourages players to go after the opposing team's most successful player. If you're the player, you have the advantage of a few bonuses like more health and the ability to do more damage. And then Rubber Duck Party, your team must climb aboard a giant rubber duck to advance your team's goal. You can check screenshots of the various maps for these modes below. Alongside the competitive multiplayer modes, there's also single player and co-op experiences. There's a mission mode to protect Bath Vegas, the fictional city where it takes place, from waves of bubble beasties. The Foamstar athletes will also chat and have conversations during these modes to highlight their personalities. Anytime, weekly, and season limited challenges will also permeate all the modes. We had a chance to speak with the development team briefly about the game and asked if we could expect any Square Enix collaborations, to which producer Suki Okatani, seen on the left in the avatar form, said nothing is confirmed yet. We are considering such things, but we would definitely like to have such collaborations. Square Enix has a cast of iconic characters, so it's pretty exciting what could possibly be in the future. They shared a similar answer about potential K-pop collaborations, as the game's art style and direction are heavily inspired by the fashion and music movement. Foamstars will be available for PlayStation Plus monthly subscribers to add to the library between February 6th and March 4th, or the game will be $29.99. All right. I'd be curious to try it out, but I'm not paying $30 for it, so
yeah.
well, we shall see.
All right. Elder Scrolls Castles is a new mobile game from the team behind Fallout Shelter, which I thought Fallout Shelter was pretty cool. I played around a little bit, but again, I don't really play on mobile. But right. I could tell it was like well made.
Sure.
Bethesda has announced Elder Scrolls Castle, a new mobile experience from the team behind Fallout Shelter. Like Fallout Shelter, Castles is a management sim with Bethesda stating in an X post that you'll build your own dynasty where every day in our world is a year in the game's world. That's kind of cool. Citizens are born, they die, rulers change, and can be betrayed. Players control their own castle over multiple generations of rulers, families, and subjects. Decision-making dictates how well your kingdom operates and how content your subjects are. Unhappy citizens may plot to overthrow you. Your castle can be expanded with new rooms and items, plus workstations for underlings. It appears to feature a turn-based combat system with players equipping heroes with gear to battle enemies and gather resources to grow their kingdom. Though the game's App Store page states that it includes in-game purchases, it is unclear if Castles is free to play or not. I'm sure it is. The Elder Scrolls Castle has soft launched in the Philippines, will become available in other regions over the next few months. It is the third mobile game in the series, following the Elder Scrolls Blades, a traditional RPG in 2019, and the Elder Scrolls Legend, a collectible card game in 2017.
All right.
Well, there's that.
There's that. Gonna go download that right now. All right. Oh, you're playing Prince of Persia. Very cool. Okay. I haven't changed up the games I'm playing, so I guess I'll knock mine out. I've been playing more Spider-Man 2. I'm really starting to enjoy it. It's actually really, really fun. I've seen a couple of new things that kind of elevate it a little more, but again, I still very much think this is Spider-Man 1.5, like, and it's not necessarily a bad thing that I've gotten more of what I got in the first one, but the part where they're really pushing it further is with the story and the characters and the way you kind of split up between the two. I really like what they're doing with that. So yeah, very good game, but it is what it is. You know what to expect.
Yeah.
Now Final Fantasy 16. I think I'm going to go on record and officially say that I think Final Fantasy 16 is a good game. Okay, before I thought it was a mediocre game. I think it's a good game now. The more I play it, the more I'm starting to come around on it. And it's weird because if you ask me, hey, do you like the exploration more? I'll say no. Hey, do you like the RPG mechanics more? No. But for some reason, I am the music, the story, the characters, even some of the abilities I'm getting are really starting to kind of bring me around more. I think this second time around, I kind of have a new appreciation for the things that were good in it. And I kind of like them even more now, you know? Like the boss battles that I've gotten to now are actually really cool. Like I'm really liking them more, and I'm not feeling as bored anymore with the combat. I think also one reason for that is that I picked up these two items that give you, I think it's like plus 10% experience for each encounter, you know, each battle with leveling up. And then I have another one that's plus 15. So I put them together. I stacked it. Like I checked, can you stack them? It says yes. So I put them together. So now I'm leveling up way faster, but I'm avoiding random encounters entirely. Like I'm just running past them. And I'm only doing the battles that are in the story and boss battles. And I find that that's made my enjoyment of the game go way up. I don't know if before, because I was fighting every single one, it was starting to feel repetitive. But now that I've unlocked like some more abilities and, you know, customized, like I like how you can do. So there's one ability, for example, it's called Flames of Rebirth. I don't know if you ever used it, but basically what it does is it takes a while to charge up, and you press like R2 and whatever button you map it to, triangle. And Clive does this sort of thing where he like stands and he has like these wings behind him. It's like flame wings, and it like bursts all around you, right? For a good like
that's
3 or 4 seconds, right?
that's the one that I selected because you have like
Yeah,
options of like
yeah,
choosing which one you want for that. And
right, right, right. So you
I
know you
thought
have to
that
use
looked the
points to.
coolest. So
Oh yeah, yeah. You have to use points to unlock these
yeah.
things, right? So this one was the most expensive one. It's like okay, and the damage is up there. This must be a good one. So I did it, and it's very useful, right? It hits all the enemies around you. But I like that, and I guess I didn't even realize this at first. Is you can learn it and then master it, which I knew, but you can even go further than that. Like you can upgrade it multiple times. So now I upgraded it twice, I think, and now he like hits them. Then they start falling to the ground. And he does like a bigger blast. So now, you know, I've started messing with that a little more too, and that's kind of made me enjoy it more. I know some people play this game, and the way you're expected to play the game is probably hit them with your fire attacks, then switch over to electricity, then switch over to this. But I really haven't been doing that. I just love the fire moves. I put all my points into fire, and I just use fire the whole time. And I don't know, man. I this has really kind of. I'm like very happy to say that I'm liking the game a lot more than I did before. I'm pretty far into it. I'm probably about 20, maybe like 26 hours or so into the game. And I think this game is going to end up going down as similar to how I felt about Final Fantasy 15, where I was like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I think I feel better that I'm heading towards that, if that makes sense. It's definitely been a weird journey because just like me and you talked at the beginning, I was like, wow, I'm not even going to keep playing this. And I put it down.
I mean, I just think that it's we were expecting one thing and got something
Right.
very different, but even
Right.
the different things we were getting still doesn't quite match
Right.
up to
Right.
other games in that same bid. But then you gotta like it almost you almost have to like figure out what pocket it fits in. It's not quite an action
Right.
game. It's not an RPG. It's more on the pocket that it fits. That's we were just talking about Hellblade. Like
Yeah, kind
it's
of.
that pocket to where it's more about like the narrative and more about the spectacle, right?
Yes. Yes. I agree with you, but I do think it is starting to get better at doing some of the things that I was complaining about. Like the side quests are getting better, which I'm very happy to say. Like I just did one recently that was actually a few steps involved, and it was something different than just the fetch quest, right?
Okay, cool.
It was like go investigate, talk to these people, and get this item, and then try to, it's like a whole thing, which I thought was really cool. I feel like this game suffers from starting off not the best and getting better as you get farther.
Okay.
It's not a case of, hey, play 20 hours and it'll get better. It's more like the first 2 hours in that demo were awesome. We all agree on that, right? We love that.
Yeah. That's why
Then
I was so hyped, is because I was so in that demo. Yeah.
Then I'd say, the next, I don't know, let's say 5-6 hours, you kind of maybe start feeling the negatives really stand out. And then, add on another 5 hours or so, and then that's where me and you kind of were like, I don't know if this is for me. But I did go back, and again, at first, the first like hour or two after I came back, I was like, am I forcing myself to play this? Like, do I really want to play this? Um, but then like some cool story stuff started happening. I started getting more into like the abilities, and I don't know, maybe my perspective change really helped me to enjoy this game more, you know? And
I
and
mean,
yeah,
we
yeah, I'm
knew
really
what it's not, so then we can try to learn to appreciate what it is,
right, right.
Yeah.
I think I can say for sure that I think this is a good Final Fantasy game. Do I think it's one of the best? Probably not. But do I think it's better than I initially thought? Yeah, I think so. So I'm gonna see it there. I'm actually looking forward to playing it right after this. I'm gonna go play some more. So yeah,
Yeah. Um, I feel like I would, but one, I'm happy playing what I'm playing right now, and
of
two,
course.
next month we get like
Oh yeah, we get
one of the
the
most
amazing
hyped
one.
in Final Fantasy I may ever be. So it's like, man, it's hard for me
Yeah,
to.
no, that's totally fair. I will say lastly, I guess I do think this game is
I
gonna
mean, how do you
suffer
think
from
this stacks up to, let's say, Final Fantasy VII Remake? I mean, that's a good
um
question.
sure. So Final Fantasy VII Remake, obviously, it's hard to judge fairly because I love Final Fantasy VII so much.
Okay.
That
Let's
being said,
say
though, I
like
do think
10 or
okay,
12, or I
no,
don't
no, you
know.
know, even seven,
Okay.
I do think that some of the boss battles in this game, I like them more. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're
I think the boss
more
battles in this game were some of the best boss
they're
battles
amazing.
I've
They're
ever
so
had.
cool.
I definitely am
Um,
with you there. Yeah, yeah.
I think the music in this game,
Music's great.
it's
Yeah,
really it's
yeah,
really
yeah,
up there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I
I agree
think
there.
as much as I love Cloud and Barrett and Tifa and all them, I think Clive and Sid are some of the best Final Fantasy characters I've ever played as. Like I think they're phenomenal. Like I think they're so good, you
Like
know?
yeah, Clive is better than Cloud, but if I start
Yeah.
thinking about the rest of the cast, like I like
Sure.
Tifa and Aerith and Barrett
Right,
and
right,
all
right.
them. I like them more than I think I do Clive.
Seven is a
Um,
good spread, right? Like
yeah,
across the board. Clive is like phenomenal. Sid is also really
but
good in my opinion.
Sid maybe, man, he may be one of the best like supporting
He's
characters
awesome.
in any
So
Final
so good.
Fantasy game. I
Yep.
think he is like maybe
Oh,
my
he's
favorite character.
fantastic.
I don't know. That's a good thing we should do one time. Is like
Yeah.
rank our like just top 10 Final Fantasy characters,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I could
yeah.
see Sid being really up there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's such a good sort of revelation that I'm having with this game, you know? It's like I'm starting to feel so much more positive about it and kind of,
Cool.
you know, I am comparing it to the other games because you know, I think of Final Fantasy 7 or 6 or 9 or 10 and I think, you know, how does this stack up? And I think it does some things
That's the
much better than
thing
some others
is
and
I would much rather play 9 though than play this. And I
of
still never
course.
even beat 9, but
I never beat 9 either.
every time I play it I'm like, God, this is so good. I hate that
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
need to stick with it. I need to do it.
I I think that 16 is in a similar vein to 15, right? Except 15 does
Yeah.
some things better than this one, and this one does some things better
I
than
was
15, you
higher
know?
on 15, and then towards the end started to fall to where like it's like the reverse with
Yeah.
16, right? It's
Yeah,
like
15,
yeah,
the story was all over the place. I really
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
even enjoy it that much. But yeah, man, I'll see if next time we meet how far I am, if I've beaten it or what, but I can definitely say I think it's a good game, and I think I made the right choice in going back to it. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it
Okay,
there.
cool.
Yeah.
So I want to talk on Palworld, not just me
It's
playing
so
this,
interesting.
but the conversation as a whole. This is insanity. And just last week, none of this existed of what the hell is happening right now. There's so many conversations, so many different threads, and it's like I'm curious where to start. First, um, yes, I do think they're actually copying Pokemon creatures. Let's just get that out of the way. They clearly are. Come on, guys. That Go look up Electabuzz, whatever the buff Electro dude from Pokemon, and tell me that dude in Power World is the same exact character. I mean, yes, obviously very slight differences, but they're totally copying. There's so many copies of Pokemon designs up in here. Now, that's honestly where it starts and where it ends on how this is Pokemon like, because it is not at all. It doesn't play like Pokemon. There's no like, I mean, you capture monsters, but that's about where it starts and ends. It is a It is a crafting survival game. And
Right.
when I didn't even know this until literally I want to say the release trailer when it released and they started showing like building a base and all that. I'm like, God dang it! I thought this game actually looked cool. I was like a little hyped. I remember like a year or two back us getting that like really pretty trailer and all that, and I was like, this be
Yeah.
cool. I understand it's not gonna be maybe greatly polished or anything,
Right.
but I
Right.
think it looks neat. And I'm very
Hmm.
curious, but once I saw survival crafting thing, I was like, dude, I'm out. Like, I don't, there hasn't been a single game in this genre, and I feel like
Yeah.
I've tried enough, and I'm like, dude, I just can't. Whatever. So
Can't get into it.
it drops Game Pass, and I'm like, no. My kid brings it up, and I was like, should we play? I mean, I guess we can play this together, and I'll play it with you, just for us to
Hmm.
play something new came out. Okay, let's check it out. Um, Fast forward, was a few days ago. I think it came out Friday. We're recording this Tuesday. Um, this is the very first game in this genre where I love it and I'm obsessed and I think it's phenomenal and I understand exactly what this is going for. It's it is very fun. It is very fun.
Okay.
Yes, it's gimmicky, but not like it's riddled with that many bugs and all that. Yeah, there's some, and it's early access and all that. I actually think it's greatly polished. I think it's pretty really good, like game design. Really got a lot of great ideas. A lot of care put behind it all. I think it's like here's the thing I really hate for an early access game it's polished because I'd rather just play it at release and not even bother. The problem is this game is just so much fun that I don't want to wait. So even if I don't get that great of a polished thing, well, I'm too deep in now. I'm gonna keep playing it. I love it. I don't think
That's
it's
awesome.
copying Pokemon outside of the designs because it has
Hmm.
nothing to do with Pokemon gameplay. This is about exploring, and this is like I don't know, very Breath of the Wild like, but with Pokemon, but with a lot of like crafting and survival mechanics. But in really cool ways. Like, so, okay, you're building your. I think it's. I don't want to build a base, never care to build a base, but when I'm doing it in this game, one, it's mission structure. Did you ever play Animal Crossing New Horizons when that came out?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed the one thing. I mean, I eventually fell off. It's just like I don't want to play a chore game, right? But
Sure.
I think the way it handled of like the missions of like, hey, do this objective, get a reward, do this objective, get a reward. And the way it starts off easy and it's really just meant to like teach you the mechanics and just give you missions to teach the mechanic and give you good rewards for doing so. And because that flow was so good, now I understand like I've never crafted this much in a game prior because I've always thought it wasn't interesting and wasn't fun. They've made it fun and interesting, and now I'm all about it to where, okay, I build this workbench, sort of thing. I don't even know what to call it, but you need fire to start it. So you actually have to have a fire creature blown fire into it to keep it going to get you crafting an item. And so, okay, you got a hot spring. You need like water Pokemon to be like filling up the spring with water to actually craft the thing. So as you're making these items, or you have certain Pokemon that can like till the field, you have certain Pokemon that you can ride on and mount, you have certain Pokemon that you can literally throw on your shoulders and pull out a machine gun and start blasting away. It's so ridiculous. But it's really funny. It's really just like it almost feels like I'm playing a game with 20 mods turned on, but it's just so fun. I just like I don't care and I'm just having a great time and I think it's actually pretty well made and I think the ideas are super good and I'm super positive on it and it's really weird because I can tell like I will agree with anyone on saying this is gimmicky bullshit,
Sure.
but it doesn't matter because it's done so well and is so fun to do
Okay.
that I urge anybody to play this and just because I can tell you right now, like Baldur's Gate 3, I've played classic RPGs in the past. I'm not like big into them, but you know, I played Baldur's Gate even 1 and 2 just for a little bit, never finished them, but like I will play that genre. I actively hate survival crafting games.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
can't
a
think of a
fan.
worse genre in my life. This is like me being like country music. I just can't do it. If I'm thinking, like I can't. I can do anything else but that. This is the country music of gaming to me. I don't care, not interested. I'm not gonna like super hate on it. Okay, you know, you may like these types of games, Minecraft, The Forest, whatever, but you'll never see me playing them.
I can't
But
get
here I
into them,
am
man.
playing Palworld, and I'm telling you, it is so different than
All right.
like I went from oh this looks neat to actually realizing it's a crafting game, being like damn. But thankfully my kid just happened to like, well, I really want to play it or whatever. Now, here's the thing. So, there's that aspect. I really love the game. It's awesome. All that, okay? Now, there is this whole millions of conversations around one, are they still in art? I think it is not inspired. I think it's a little leaning on they're kind of still in a little here, but I don't know if they would lose in a court case. But it's close,
Gotcha.
you know.
Well,
Thankfully, the game doesn't play like Pokemon, so it's not outside of just the artwork of the creatures. That's the only thing you can ding them for
right,
of it being like
right.
Pokemon. So, anyway, that part aside, okay, the bigger conversation over anything is how popular this is. I don't know if you saw this. So,
It's crazy. I saw. I couldn't
it
believe
is
it.
in the top 6 of most congruent players on Steam to ever release. It is up there with this is like Grand Theft Auto stuff. This is surpassing Elden Ring. This is over 1 million congruent players in its first day. A few days in, it's like a few million at this point. It's only skyrocketing. It's not like it went up a little and went down. This is still rising and rising fast and greatly. If you look on Twitch, it's easily the most played right now. Um, this is, I mean, this is here's the thing. This is basically what happened to like PUBG or Fortnite or all this stuff, right? Just took off. This is the next big thing. It's to that level of conversation, but we're so early in is the thing. So maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, people like kind of get over like okay and maybe move on and maybe the ugly side starts to show a little too much and maybe there's not too much here, right? And maybe it's only the very beginnings. But the downside that makes me think that's not going to be the case is one, you know how hardcore some people can be to where
Oh
there's
yeah.
already people out there 100 hours deep into this in just a
It's
few
so
days.
crazy.
It's ridiculous. So we already know from that aspect that it at least stays of what you wanting. Whether you want to call that good or not, I guess that's up to you. But I think the sustainability is going to be there. It's more of like, yes, I'm sure a bunch of like any game ever online people being like, oh, I wish they would update this and change that, and they won't do it, and I'm mad. Even though I have 3,000 hours in the game, I'm gonna give it a negative review on Steam. You know, like I'm sure that's gonna
Yeah.
happen. But I just think the conversation is too important to skip on of just how gigantic this is, and I think this is going to be like, here's the next phenomenon piece, you know,
Right.
um,
Right.
of just overtaking the internet and people really gravitating to it. And to
Everyone's
be
talking
honest,
about
I
it.
think it deserves it. I think it's a really cool game. As
Sure.
weird and crappy it is in so many things, and how gimmicky and how like early it is, and how like it's very much in that vein of just I don't want to put it. You know, there's just these PC games that are just like, let's say like Gary's Mod or something. I don't know. Things that take off to where people aren't expecting polish. They're just having a fun time with it and love messing around in it. And that's kind of how this game's taken off in that level.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally unexpected, man.
Yeah.
So
Um,
very
I
cool.
really
Well, I'm
like
gonna
it,
have to
like
check
a
it out
lot,
sometime.
and I urge anyone to give it a shot, regardless of what you may think about it. Um, I
All
think it
right.
just takes getting your hand on it to understand. And then last year, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. Yes, I've been playing this. Um, I've been really crapping on Ubisoft lately, and this game only makes me feel bad, or it only proves that Ubisoft is only good at making 2D games. Because I want to. I mean, I'm curious if it's the same team as Rayman Legends, only because of how good this game feels. Yeah. Anyway, this game is popping off hard. A lot of praise is coming from it. I get it. I love it. This is right up there. I mean, I don't know if I want to say maybe it's not as good as Metroid Dread, but it's close, and it's an incredible game, and I was not expecting it to be. I wasn't even gonna really touch it, to be honest, but reviews started coming out, and everyone is like, no, for real, this is a great game, and I'm in it. I love it.
Yeah.
Another huge high recommendation from me. I'm I don't everything about it. I mean, if you here's the cool thing. It was built for Switch. So when you play on other systems, like, it looks a little prettier, but not much. If you watch any comparison of like PS5 versus Switch, you can hardly tell the difference. And it runs 60 on Switch, and it somehow still looks really good just because it's shining through in its art style. So yes, if you have a Switch and you want to play handheld, this is the perfect Switch game.
Okay.
And runs super well, looks great. This is one of the best Metroidvanias I've played. I've been having a really hard time with this genre. Not like I don't like Metroidvanias, I do, but again, like, I love Castlevania, I love Metroid, but like there's so many other games like Dead Cells. Like, no matter, apparently it's the godsend of greatest games ever. And still having a hard time caring about it, and I keep trying to play it, and I'm just like, you know. But maybe it's just because I'm just not a big fan of like roguelikes and all that. But I'm really gravitating to this Prince of Persia. I think everything, like, its story is great. I think it looks great. The combat feels amazing right from the rip. Like, you can do this like run, slide, jump, dive kick thing. That's super fun, and it knocks people up in the
Okay.
air. It's really fun at juggling people. You get like a bow. You get all these different weapons. Combat feels really good. Um, I was questioning because I was going through the difficulties, and there's like 5 levels. It's like easy, medium, hard, extra hard, nightmare, or something like that. But I picked hard. I usually go with normal. But just because I guess the placement of things, I was like, I'd rather it be a little too hard than a little too easy. So let me go with hard. And I'm glad I did, because yeah, I'm dying, but I'm having a lot more fun
I'll have
learning
more fun.
enemies, like
I gotcha.
tricks and everything. And anyway, I'm really taking a liking to this, and think it's phenomenal. And so
Very
right
cool.
now, I mean, 2024, we're only first month in. Next month is going to be gigantic with Final Fantasy and Persona 3, and Grand Blue Relink that I really took a liking to as well. That also comes out next month. Actually, I want to say that's before these others. I want to say that comes out the first or second. Um, so I'm gonna be in JRPG heaven come February. So really, really excited
Yeah.
there.
That's awesome. I have not forgotten, by the way, even though I didn't list it today, Octopath 2, I still have it right there.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
definitely gonna play the heck out of that. I feel like it's been nice to go back to my PS5 because again, I only really play it when I have games that I can only play there. So I went through, Alan Wake on my PC. Before that, I played some others. So now I'm like all about my PS5. I'm just jumping between Final Fantasy and Spider-Man. So once those two are done, back to
What are you
PC slash
playing?
Steam Deck.
Uh, Octopath Traveler. What you get it on?
I got it on Steam.
Cool.
So
As you
so yeah, I
should.
figure.
It looks
Yeah,
great. Steam
because
Deck. It's
play
cool.
Steam Deck,
Yep.
and then if I ever, I'm home one day, I want to play on my computer, no problem. So
Because I
yeah,
want to say that not like frame rate's a big deal, but it's still, I think it even makes games look better. It's not just
It
all a
does.
matter of like playing. I think when you're seeing 60 in action, even if it's turn based, it still looks way cooler in 60.
I totally agree. Yep. Yep.
So anyway, so yeah, I want to say the Switch version isn't 60, but now I want to look this up. Because I'm playing Steam wise, I'm not playing on Switch. Um, okay, it's dynamic 60. The game. Oh wait, hold on. Okay. No, okay. It's 30 on Switch and it's 60 on Steam Deck. So yeah. So I say definitely just play it there just for that reason alone. And the game's really pretty and it pops a little
It
more
is.
on the deck than what you'd get on the Switch. Okay.
It's definitely a good looking game.
Let's get
So,
new game watch and we'll get out of here. Like
yeah.
I was saying, this is here we go, the start of it all. So Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. This is going to be gigantic here. January 26th, all platforms but Switch. Tekken 8. Now, out of all of them, which I have Mortal Kombat 1, but again, it was like Street Fighter, this, and Tekken. I was saying I want Tekken, and I played that demo, and I think Tekken's going to be the winner in terms of me actually like really putting my teeth into it and playing it a bunch. Comes out the 26th. Rugby 24, all platforms but Switch, January 30th. Blaze Blue, Interrupted Effect, PC, January 31st. Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story, all platforms but Switch, January 31st. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, all platforms but Switch and Xbox, February 1st. And then One Punch Man World, PC, iOS, Android, February 1st. Now, what was I thinking there? Oh, all these but not Switch. It made me think like I'm sure Nintendo at this point is realizing, okay, we definitely are underpowered, and now we're starting to really lack when it comes to third party support because the other systems are so far ahead at this point, and we're not really getting anything that I don't believe some weird theory on like the Switch 2 is gonna be like same power, but it's gonna have some new gimmick or something. Like it's got to
Yes.
be more powerful because they got to at least get back to where they could at least like play some of this stuff coming on these platforms because they're
Yeah, I
clearly
agree.
lacking with any new release nowadays. I mean, they're not in trouble by any means. Like smaller titles are bigger than ever. There's plethora of options. They still have a gigantic first party. It's not like they're struggling, but I could
Right.
still see in their mind being like, "Man, it'd be nice if we could get a Like a
Yeah, of
Dragon
course.
or a Grand Blue Fantasy or something like that."
Every one of those games they get is another bonus for them. People buy them,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. It
can
still would
only be
only
helped.
help them, and I'm sure they still think about that. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
anyway.
Agreed.
All right. Well, if you don't have anything more to add, we'll get out of here.
That's all I got, man. I'm gonna go play some Final Fantasy. I'm excited. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing Palworld. Weirdly enough, I cannot believe this is a reality. But I'm playing like
that's
I really don't like survival games. I just
that's awesome.
I like it. It's fun. I get it. The hype is real. I'll see you.
Later.